Hi everyone. So today here we have new section about implicit differentiation. So now let me explain what we have. So what I gave you before, I give you derivative power rules, product rules, quotient rules. I give exponential, I give you log. And so what is implicit here? So when I give you y equal f of x, if you recall, and the right hand side here, is everything function in x only. So for example, if I say y equal x squared, as you can see, that is a function in x. So this function here, we call it, because you are able to solve this one here for y here, what is the number in front, y1. So this one we call it explicit equation because you are able to solve this equation y. So y in one side and everything in terms of x in the other side. So today here we are going to have something different. We call it here implicit equation. So if I consider this equation, y to the power 5 plus y plus x equals 0, right? So if I have this equation here, this equation, why we call it equation, you have equal signs, but here are we able to solve this one for y? No. Look what you have y to the power 5, y here. Are we able to solve this one here for y? No. How to solve this one for y means 1, y equal, and you must have 1, the number in front y is 1, and everything in the other side here must be a function in x. But here, because you have y to the power 5 and we have y, I cannot make this one here, I cannot solve this one here for y. So that is this one, we call it implicit equation. Why implicit equation? Because we are not able to bring y in one side and the other term to the other side, where the other term here in the right hand side here must be a function in x. There is no y involved. But here, look what you have two term has y. I cannot really separate them, and this one here we call it implicit. So here we cannot solve. Let me write it here. So we cannot solve this equation. We cannot solve here. We cannot solve for y explicitly here. Explicitly means you are able to take y, as I said, in one side and in term of x, and the term in term of x means the other side must be only in x. All right. However, so this equation we call it here implicit functions or implicit equation, because your y is not given to you. Your y here, what do you know about this equation? Y is a function in x, but is not given to us. What do you know about y? We don't know why. But what we know, y is a function in x. So here we are not able to solve this equation for y. However, we need to study the behaviors of y. Where is y is increasing? Where is y is decreasing? So that is related to slope. Remember, if you recall here, you have y equal mx, say 2x plus 1. We mentioned here before your slope, your m here slope is 2. Your slope is positive, means your y is going to increase. Your y is going to increase by 2 unit, right? 2 unit. When x increase by how many unit? When x increase by 1 unit. When x increases by one unit, right? So that is something we know. I'm just recalling. Also, if you have y equal negative 2x plus 1, so your slope here is negative number, means your y is going to decrease. Decrease means decrease by how many unit? 2, because your slope is negative, by 2 unit. Your y decrease by 2 unit. When x increase by how many unit? When x, just let me write it. When x increases by 1 unit. Now, if I go for nonlinear functions, well, how to get the slope? The slope here is nothing but the derivative. So here for this equation, even yes, we are not able to solve this one explicit, but we are able to take the derivative. How to take the derivative? Because your derivative here is going to tell you that is give you the slope, your derivative y prime at specific numbers. If you recall, we said your slope here, m prime slope here is nothing but it's f prime of a, or sometimes we write dy by dx at x equal a, right? So dy by dx when x equal a, or f prime because y equal f of x, y equal f of x. So that is our slope, and this slope is going to measure how the change of your y, if it's increase or it's decrease. So that is according to m positive, then your functions f or y is going to increase. If your m is negative, then your f or y is going to decrease. So now we are interested today to take the derivative of this function here, or this equation, which is called implicit equation, which means you are not able to solve for y. How to get the derivative? Let me show you how to take the derivative. That is our goal for today. So you have the equation y to the power 5 plus y plus x equals 0. So how to, the question here is find dy by dx. Find dy by dx. So I need to get dy by dx. That is our goal. Remember, your y is not given. Your y is not known to us. But what do you know? Y is a function in x. So how to get dy by dx? In order to get dy by dx, step number 1, I have a few steps we have to follow. We are going to follow them, all of them. Step number 1, just go ahead and take the derivative of both sides. Just take the derivative of both sides. So, right? So here is the left hand side, and the right hand side here 0. So the derivative 0 here is a constant. What is the derivative? What is the derivative of any constant? Should be 0. Right? That's 0 in a way. So you have 0. So here, what do you have in the middle? Plus. Where you have in the middle plus. So I have to take the derivative term by term. So you have y to the power 5 plus the derivative of y plus the derivative of x. Right? So I'm taking the derivative term by term. So now let us recall. If you recall Bauer rules, what is Bauer rule, guys? Bauer rules here, they tell you if you have a bracket to the power n, the whole thing I need to take the derivative of this. It turned out that's a bracket to the power n. So what is the Bauer rule? N. I put n in front, and then here is your bracket, n minus 1. And I have to multiply by the derivative, whatever inside the bracket. The derivative, whatever inside the bracket. So now, what happens if I take, in these Bauer rules, your f of x equal y? I replace f of x by y. If I replace f of x by y, then this equation, it will be y to the power n. I need to take the derivative of that. It will be n. Just replace f by y. Replace f by y. So if I replace f by y, you are going to get these equations, and that is the one I put star. I'm going to use. If you have y to the power n, it will be n. Y to the power n minus 1 and multiply by y prime. What is y prime? That is the question. The question here is find dy by dx. You look what you have. Find dy by dx. That is the question. So it's not 1. Y prime here is not 1. So let me write this equation here as d by dx, y to the power n. It will be n, y n minus 1 multiplied by y prime. Right? So that is from here. That is still Bauer rules here, and that is the one I'm going to use for implicit differentiation. So something you should really know. Some people can ask why y prime is not 1, because that is the question. Y prime is dy by dx. Your y here is not known. Your y here is not known. So now what happens if you take here, look what you have in Bauer rules. I replace f by y. What about if I replace f of x by x? Just x. Then what this equation will become? This equation becomes x to the power n prime. It will be just take f and replace n. So you have n, x n minus 1, and replace f. It will be f. Instead of f prime, you have x prime. What is x prime? Your x prime here is 1. Your x prime. What is x prime? What is why is it? Why? I'm going to ask here. Why x prime is 1? Why here? I'm just is sticking out here. So I take this one. I don't know why it's moving. So here, if I take case 2, just write case 2 for in the Bauer rule. If I take f of x equal x, right? So what happened here? Your f of x equal x here. Just replace f by x. Then you have x to the power n prime. It will be n. That is your n. X to the power n minus 1 multiplied by x prime. Instead of f prime, you have x prime. So what is x prime, guys? Here x prime is 1. X prime is 1. So some people can ask why x prime is 1 and y prime is not 1. X prime here, x prime means dx by dx. So it's like dx, the cancel with dx, you get 1. That is one way. Or x to the power 1 prime. X to the power 1 prime. What is that? X to the power 1 prime. That is, apply the rule here, which is, it will be 1, x1 minus 1, right? So I replace 1 and then I replace 1. So here what you have? You will have here, so x prime, the derivative of x with respect to x, which is 1. But y prime, the derivative of y with respect to x, which is not 1. Right? So if you have the same x here, x up, dx by dx like this, then it's easy to get 1. So anyway, return back to our problems. I'm going to use star here, which is y to the power n. It will be n, yn minus 1 multiplied by y prime. So here that is a formula here I need to get, all right, to get the derivative. Let me ask you, what is dx by dx? Dx by dx is what? Is 1. Dx by dx is 1. What is dy by dx? Dy by dx, that is a question. They ask you, what is dy by dx? I need to find it. So what is y to the power 5? That is your n here. Look what you have. What is my n? Oh, your n is 5. So I'm going to apply this rule, which is y to the power n. So if I go back up here, so what do you have? You have derivative of y to the power 5 plus the derivative of y plus the derivative of x with respect to x, and here 0. So dx by dx is just 1. dy by dx, it's dy by dx, that is the one I need to find. So I write it like this. Now this one here, I need to apply the rule here. That is my rule. So what is your n? Your n is 5. So you have 5, y 4, n 5 minus 1, which is 4, and y prime, which is dy by dx. dy by dx, y prime here, which is dy by dx. Right? So I took the derivative of first term, which is 5, n, that is n minus 1 dy by dx. dy by dx I need to find plus 1 equals 0. So that is step number 1. I took the derivative of both sides. Then that is step number 1. Look what you have. Step number 1 I did. I took the derivative of both sides. You can write it in words. Just take the derivative of both sides. You can write it like this. And then I took the derivative. So that's step number 2. Step number 2, I'm going to collect, right? Any term involving dy by dx. So any term has dy by dx, I put it in one side, and any term does not have y prime, any term does not have y prime, right, or dy by dx, I have to put it in other side. All right. So that is, I'm just writing some rules you have to follow, and then it will be all the problem here. We're going to solve are going to follow this problem. So here I try here. Look what you have. I have dy by dx here. I have dy by dx here. So this term, that's one term, has dy by dx. Second term has dy by dx. But this term here does not have dy by dx. So I take this term to the other side. I leave any term has dy by dx involving dy by dx in one side. So I'm going to leave 5 y to the power 4 dy by dx plus dy by dx on the left hand side, and the right hand side, just I'm going to take 1 to the other side. If I take 1 to the other side, you get -1, right? So that is step number 2. Step number 3 here, I make sure, as I said, one side has, all the term has dy by dx. The other side does not have any dy by dx. Last step here, I have to factor out dy by dx. If I factor out dy by dx from here, what do you have? You have y to the power 4. If I take dy by dx from here, you get 1. And that is equal -1. So I factor out, so let me write it, factor out y dy by dx. I factor out dy by dx from all the term. If I take that dy by dx, you have 5y to the power 4. If I take dy by dx, you get just 1. And then, what is the last step? Last step here, step number 4, that is the last step. Just solve for dy by dx. Solve for dy by dx, or y prime. How to solve for y prime? Then you have to divide by this coefficient, the bracket here. So you get dy by dx. It will be -1 divided by 5y to the power 4 plus 1. Right? That is our derivative. That is our derivative. So now, if they give us a point which is x equal a number x and y, there is a value, then I can get the slope and can see if y is going to increase or y is going to decrease. Right? So here for dy by dx is very clear, it's decrease. Why? Here you have what? 5y to the power 4. So even y is positive or negative, what is y to the power 4? Y to the power 4 is always positive, right? Y to the power 4 is always positive. So this one, this term here is negative. This one means negative numbers for any value of y. So your y is decreasing. When x increase by 1 unit, it happens your y is going to decrease. Why? Because your y to the power 4 is always positive for any real number y. If y is positive number, y to the power 4 to become positive. If y is negative, you have negative to the power y to the power 4, which is positive again. So this one here, it's always negative. Okay, so that is called implicit differentiation, because I took the derivative from one side to the other one. Okay, so now I need to maybe solve other problems. So I'm going to solve here another one of the examples that I have in the textbook. Example number 2, that is number 42 in section 12.5. So what is that? They ask you to find the slope. I need to find the slope. That's one question here. Find the slope of the tangent line. I need to find the slope of the tangent line, right, to the curve. What is the curve here? You have 2x squared plus xy equal 3y squared at -1 and 1. All right, at -1 and 1. So I need to get the slope. So how to get the slope, guys? The slope here is, it will be y prime, the derivative, dy by dx. When x, that is a point here at this point, which is x equal -1 and y equal 1. X equal -1 and y equal 1. So how to take the derivative of this? So you remember, similar to previous example, step number 1, I'm going to take the derivative of both sides. So you have 2x squared plus xy prime equal to 3y squared prime. I'm just take the derivative of both sides, right? I took the derivative of both sides. So now, what is, I have to take the derivative of both sides. What do you have in the middle here, guys? You have plus, which means I have to take the derivative of first term plus the derivative of second term. And here, really you need to take the derivative of 3y squared prime. 3 here is a constant. I can grab the 3 out. I can grab the 3 constant out. So what do you have? Not writing here. Right? So if I take 3 out, so what do you have here, guys? Just let me write it here. Alright, so here I take 3 out. So what do you have left inside? It will be y squared prime. Now, what is the derivative of 2x squared? 2 is a constant. I can grab it outside. What is the derivative of x squared? You have 2x. Multiply by x prime, right? Multiply by x prime. So if you want, I could apply this one here. So you have 2x x prime. That is the rule. You have your n here is 2. So you have 2x to the power 1 multiplied by x prime. And here you have x multiplied by y. Did you hear? X multiplied by y. When you hear this multiply, means you have to apply product rule. What is product rule? Product rule fg prime. It will be fg prime and f prime g. And what do you have here? You have x multiplied by y prime. That is the rule here. Then you have x y prime plus x prime y. X y prime plus x prime y, because that's the product rule. What is y prime? That is the question, or that is the one I need to find. What is y prime? So I need y prime here is y prime. What is x prime? X prime is 1. I show up when I start, x prime is 1. So what do you have? You have y. So the derivative of this is just a copy from here. You will have x y prime plus x plus y, x y prime plus y. So now I need to get the derivative. So what is the rule? Just recall the derivative of y to the power n prime. It will be n y n minus 1 y prime. So that is y square here. So what is your n? Your n here is 2. Your n here is 2. So what do you have? Just let me start here, simplify. 2x. What is x prime? What is x prime? X prime is 1. So you have 2x plus x y prime plus y equal to 3. And here 2y. What is your n here, guys? If I compare, what is my n? 2. So it will be n minus 1. 2 minus 1, which is 1. Multiply by y prime. Do not forget y prime here. So you have y prime. Students always forget y prime. So I have to write y prime. Simplify this. You get 3 multiplied by 2. You get 6. Right? So here, for this one, you have 2 and 2x here. So this one should be 4x. 2, you have 2x multiplied by 2. You get 4x. And here, 3 multiplied by 2. You get 6. And here y prime, right? And here you have 4x plus x y prime plus y. So that is step number 1. I took the derivative of both sides and then I simplify as much as I can. Then what is step number 2? Step number 2, I have to collect all the terms. Step number 2, just collect all the term has y prime, here y prime, and here y prime. This term does not have y prime. This term does not have y prime. So any term does not have y prime, I put it in one side. Any term has y prime, I have to put it to the other side. So let me take this term. So you have 4x, that is no y prime, plus y. And here you have 6y y prime. And then I have to take xy prime to the other side. It will be negative xy prime. Negative xy prime. Right? So that is step number 2. I collect all the term has y prime in one side. This term does not have y prime. I put it on the other side. Right? So now what is step number 3? So step number 2, collect y prime. Any term has y prime on the one side. Any term does not have y prime, I put it in the other side. Step number 3, I have to factor out. So you have 4x plus y equal, I factor out y prime. Just grab y prime out. If I grab y prime out from the first term, and you have 6y. And here, minus x. If I grab y prime from here, what do you have? You get negative x. Negative x. Right? So you have here y prime. I factor out y prime. That is step number 3. Factor out y prime. So you have 6y. And from here, you have negative x. All right, and then what I should do, last step number 4, just solve for y prime. Solve for y prime. So you have 4x plus y divided by 6y minus x equal to y prime. Right? I'm just solve for y prime. So when I solve for y prime means the number in front y prime must be 1. So the number here must be 1. I don't have anything in front one. So that is a coefficient here. That's called coefficient. The bracket, I'm dividing both sides by 6y minus x. So if I divide by 6y minus x, you get y prime. So what is our goal? Our goal to get the slope, which is y prime when x equal negative 1 and y equal 1. If you recall up, you go up here. So that is our goal from the beginning. What is y prime when x equal negative 1? And what is your y equal 1? So I have to replace x by negative 1. And I have to replace y by 1. So you have 4 negative 1 plus 1 divided by 6 multiplied by 1 minus x, which is negative 1. If I simplify negative 4 plus 1, you get negative 3. And here, negative times negative, you get positive. Negative times negative, you get positive 1. So what do you have? You have the slope negative 3 over 7. Negative 3 over 7. Okay? So now, the question here is find the slope of the tangent line. So now, if I ask you, what is the equation? Maybe I do that for the other questions. number 50. It's in another example here. This is number 15 in the textbook. What is that? They ask you to find the equation. Find the equation, right, of the tangent line tangent line to the curve. What is the curve here? The curve which is ln x minus y plus 1 equal to 3x squared at x equals 0. At x equals 0. I need to find the equation of the tangent line. What is the equation of a tangent line here? Equation of the tangent line, just a line. Equation of the tangent line, just a line. Equation of any line should be mx plus b. mx plus b. How to get b? Your b here, you need to figure out your x-intercept. So as I said here, I should give you x and y. So here, I think I will give you, so maybe I should write at 0 and y equal -1. Alright? So the slope, it will be 0 and -1. Okay? So let me show you here how to get, what is your slope? Your slope here is nothing but the derivative dy by dx at x equal 0 and y equal -1. How to get what? That is our slope, right? How to get y-intercept? Y-intercept, that is your b here, that is called y-intercept. Y-intercept, that is what you need. You need 1 point, which is x equals 0 and y equal -1. So now, step by step, I have to get the slope. How to get the slope? I need to get the derivative. And then after I take the derivative, I have to replace x by 0 and replace y by -1, and then that is your slope. So how to take the derivative? Step 1, take the derivative of both sides. I have to take the derivative of both sides. So you have ln x minus y plus 1, right? I'm just taking the derivative of both sides with respect to x, which is 3x squared. What you have in the middle, you have in the middle plus. If you have in the middle plus, means you have to take the derivative of term by term. So the derivative of first term plus the derivative of second term. And here, what is the derivative with respect to x? 3x squared. So I can take 3 out. What is the derivative of x squared? You have 2x. You have 2x multiplied by x prime, which is 1, right? Because what is your n? 2. So you have 2 minus 1, x prime, so it's 1. So what is the derivative of 1? It's a 0. 0, why? Because it's a constant. So now I have to take the derivative of ln x minus y. Then I have to recall the rules. What is the derivative of log? ln f prime. ln f prime, it will be 1 over f multiplied by f prime. 1 over f multiplied by f prime. Right? 1 over f multiplied by f prime. So how to get 1 over f multiplied by f prime? So what is your f? Whatever inside here, that is my f. So it will be 1 over x minus y multiplied by f prime, which is x minus y prime. So here ln f, which is x minus y. So you have 1 over x minus y multiplied by x minus y prime. That is the rule. And what is the derivative of 1? 0. What is the derivative here? You get 3, 2. So you get 6x. We got 6x, right? So now it's a good, because it's a fraction here. So I can multiply both sides by x minus y. I can multiply by x minus y so that you can get rid of x minus y here. So just multiply both sides. Multiply both sides just try to solve by x minus y, so that I simplify. So you have on the right hand side x minus y prime, and here you have 6x multiplied by x minus y. X minus y. So now I have to take the derivative of this. What do you have in the middle? Minus. If you have in the middle minus, means you take the derivative term by term. X prime minus y prime. And that is equal 6x, x minus y. So now, guys, so what is x prime minus y prime? What is x prime? 1. That's very good. X prime is 1. What is y prime? That is the one I need to find. Y prime, it's dy by dx, which is the one I need to find. So you have 6x multiplied by x minus y. Right? So step number 1, I took the derivative of both sides, I simplify. If you recall step number 2, I have to collect all y prime What is the term has y prime? That is the y prime. That's the only one. And the other term, there is no y prime here, no y prime, and there is no y prime here. So I collect 1 to the other side. So what you have, negative y prime equal 6x minus y. If I take 1 to the other side, you get negative 1, right? If I take 1 to the other side, become negative 1. But here you have, I need to solve for y prime because that is only y prime. So I have to multiply each term. That's one term, and that is second term here. I have to multiply each term by negative 1. If I multiply here by negative, so negative times negative, you get positive. If I multiply this term by negative, you get negative 6x multiplied by x minus y. If I multiply by negative, you get positive 1. So multiply each term by negative 1. So negative times negative, you get positive. Here negative, and here negative times negative, you get positive. So that is our y prime. So now, what is our goal? Our goal here is to get the slope, which is y prime, when x equals 0 and y equal, what is your y? Equal just negative 1, right? Negative 1. So now, just to replace x by 0. If I replace x by 0, what's this term? Because x here is 0. 0 multiplied by any number, you get 0. So what did you get? You get just 1. So what is your slope is 1. So what is the equation then? Your equation should be mx, which is 1 plus b, mx plus b. So you have x. So what is your x here? X is 0. What is your y? Negative 1. So I have to replace here x by 0 and y by negative 1. If I replace y by negative 1, then you get b. What is your b? Just negative 1. So what is the equation then? X plus b. So you have x minus 1, x minus 1. So that is our equation of the tangent line. So let me summarize what I did. What I did here, they ask you find the equation of the tangent line. It's just a line, normal line, mx plus little b. M here the slope, which means your derivative when x equals 0. And your y-intercept, you need 1 point, x and y. So how to take y prime, our slope, just I took the derivative of both sides. 3x squared, it will be just 6x, right? What is the derivative here? What you have in the middle plus means you take the derivative of first term plus the derivative of second term. So that is the rule. What is the 1 is 0. Here you have 6x, and here ln f, it will be 1 over f prime. What is your f? X minus y. So it will be 1 over f prime equal 6x. I get a simplify, get rid of this fraction, multiply both sides by x minus y. That's what I did. I got 6x multiplied by x minus y, and here I have x minus y prime. What do you have in the middle? Minus. Take the derivative term by term. X prime, which is 1. Y prime, that is the one I need to find. And here we have no y prime. So now I need to solve this equation for y prime, because our goal to get y prime. And then I have to replace, I got y prime, and then I solve for y prime. When I say solve for y prime, means the number in front y prime just be 1, must be 1. Then I replace x by 0 and replace y by negative 1. When I replace x by 0, 0 multiplied by any term, you get 0. Plus 1, you get 1. Just what is the slope is 1. I put it should be mx. Your slope should be equation of the line mx plus little b. Your m is 1. I need to get b. I replace x by 0 and y by negative 1 here in this equation. You get b negative 1. Then your equation should be m, which is mx. What is your m is 1. What is your x? Is your b is just negative 1. Alright? So here, just a remark. In this, if you look to the textbook or the problem, the remark here, they tell you, and here they give you this equation, ln x minus y plus 1 equal 3x squared, right? 3x squared. So let me give you guys how to solve. If I tell you x equals 0, how to get y? How to get y? Right? If I give you x is given 0, that is what is given in the textbook. And now I need to get y. Here I give you y negative 1. So let me show you how to get y negative 1. Okay? So is y equal negative 1? So let me show you how is y is negative 1. Okay? So now just go ahead and replace x by 0. If I replace x by 0, you get ln. Just I replace x by 0, you get negative y plus 1. And here I replace x by 0, get 0. Right? So what did I got? I got here ln minus y plus 1 equals 0. So how to solve this equation? I took 1 to the other side. So what do you have? You have negative 1. Right? I took 1 to the other side, become negative 1. How to solve this one from high school or from other tools? So let me recall for you here. If you have log base b of x equal y, this one equivalent to what is your base? B. So it will be b to the power y. B to the power y equal to whatever inside here, which is x. Right? So what is ln? Ln here is ln minus y equal negative 1. I could write this one, it's log base e of negative y equal negative 1. Right? Log base e, what is your base? Is e. So if I write this equivalent here, it will be e to the power negative 1, e to the power negative 1 equal to e to the power negative 1 equal to negative y. Right? E to the power negative 1 equal to negative y. Does that make sense here, guys? So e to the power negative 1 equal to, I think here the problem here is there is so that is your e. So here your e is not negative 1 as I mentioned here. So let us it will be just e to the power negative 1. So what is your y? Your y here is negative e to the power minus 1. Negative to the e to the power negative 1. Okay? Negative to the power negative 1. So for this one here, I think, so that is something we should really, I think so your y equal, when x equals 0, your y here equal minus e to the power negative 1. Okay? So here, guys, so if I go back here, so our slope here is correct, except your y here, if I replace it by e to the power negative 1 here, e to the power negative 1, look what you have. Here what you have, e to the power negative 1, and that is equal negative y. So what is your y? Minus e to the power negative 1. So if I go back here for these equations, right? So what did you get? Your x equals 0, but what is your y? E to the power negative 1. Minus e to the power negative 1. So your slope is still 1, because if I replace x by 0, the whole thing becomes 0. So what is your y-intercept here? Your y-intercept, that is the one is going to change, which is negative 1 here, e to the power negative 1. So if I replace x by 0, what is your y? Your b, it will be e to the power negative 1 minus e to the power negative 1. So I go back here, it will be e to the power negative 1. What is e to the power negative 1? It will be 1 over e. What is e? 2.7. 2.7. Whatever it is, the number here is okay. So here, let me summarize what I did so that I correct what I have. Usually in the textbook, your y here is not given. Just try to see, it's not writing here. Alright, so here, I'm just trying to, here is the problem is given like this in the textbook. I need to find the equation of the tangent line to this curve where x is 0. In the exam, I'm going to give you x and y, try to make it easy for you. So ln x, so how to do that? I need to get, here is the equation of any line, mx plus b. Your m here is your derivative when x equals 0, right? So that is what you have. But here, they give you the number here. If I give you this one, I should give it to you like this. I should give you minus e to the power negative 1. E to the power negative 1. Right? So how to go ahead and take the derivative? By taking the derivative of both sides. What you have in the middle plus, you have to take the derivative term by term. The derivative of 3x squared, you get 6x. And here, derivative 1, 0. What is the derivative of ln x minus y? It will be 1 over f prime. So that's what I did. Everything's correct here, except your y, you need to solve it. That is what I did as a remark. But you don't need to worry. I will give you x and y as I mentioned in the class. So that is the way to do this problem here, guys. So I think I think I will stop here, or maybe I solve another, solve one problem extra to do this one. So maybe I solve number 2, and I will provide. So how to solve number 2? I need to get, look what you have, what is given here, guys. Number 2 here, and then I can close the lectures. I need to solve this one. How to solve this one? I need to get dq by db. So which means you have to take the derivative with respect to what? db, with respect to b. And q here is given what? Function in p. Your q is given function in p. So here q minus p equal ln q plus ln p. So what is step number 1? I need to get the derivative with respect to b. So step number 1, I have to take the derivative with respect to b in both sides. So take the derivative with respect to b in both sides. So that is what I'm going to do. The derivative of b with respect. So here the derivative with respect to p, I have to take both sides. Now what do you have in the middle? Oh, you have in the middle minus, which means you have to take the derivative of term by term. So the first derivative, the first term q, the derivative of q with respect to b. Second derivative, I'm going to take b with respect to b. What do you have in the middle? Plus. Then I have to take the derivative of ln q, because you have in the middle plus means take the derivative of first term and take the derivative of second term with respect to p. With respect to p, right? So now, what is the question? The question here is, my question here is, just try to see that. I don't know from where this one. I think, okay, so what is the question here, guys? Okay, so the question here is, here, I give myself room here, sorry. What is the question? The question here is, what is the derivative of q with respect to b? So that is not 1, that is the one I need to find. So the derivative of q with respect to b, that is the one I need to find. What is the derivative of b with respect to b? X with respect to x, it should be 1. So here the derivative of q with respect to p, it will be just 1. The derivative of p with respect to b, get 1. And now what is the derivative of ln f? That is your f. It will be 1 over f, which is, what is your f here? Q, and multiply by q prime, and then the derivative of that, what is your f? Your f here is p, so you have 1 over p prime, 1 over p prime. So now I need to collect, I took the derivative. What is p prime, guys? What is the p prime? P prime, the derivative of p prime means the derivative of p with respect to p, which is 1. P prime here is 1, but q prime, that is your q prime, dq by dp, and that is the one I need to find. I put question mark, means I need to find. So now I've took the derivative. Then what is next? What is next here? I collect any term has q prime in one side, and any term does not have y prime. I put it to the other side. So b prime here is 1. So now how to simplify this? That is your q prime. Oh, I don't know where. So here dq, I collect this one. It will be q prime. That is q prime minus 1, right? Equal 1 over q minus 1 over q prime, and here plus 1 over p, right? So this one here q prime, this one q prime. Then step number 2, I collect y prime, q prime. Any term has q prime in one side. Any term does not have this one here. Maybe I put it different colors, so I put it like this. And this one, it's 1. So I collected 1 here. -1 is not, there is no y prime. So I take -1 to the other side. So what do you have? You have q prime equal 1 over q prime. And here 1 over p. When I take -1 to the other side, you get 1 plus 1. And this term has q prime, I have to take it to the left. So if I have to take that to the left, you have minus 1 over q prime, minus 1 over q prime, equal to 1 over p plus 1, 1 over p plus 1. Then I make sure I'm collecting all the term has q prime in one side. Any term does not have y prime, q prime, I put it on the other side. So now what is next? I factor out q prime, just factor out. If I factor out q prime from here, if I grab q prime, what do you have left? Just 1. When I grab q prime out, what do you have left? 1 over q. And here, what do you have? 1 over p plus 1. Then I need to solve this one. Here you have q prime. You have to solve this one. You have 1 over p plus 1 divided by 1 minus 1 over q. So I'm just solving for q prime. So here I solve for q prime, which means I have to divide by this bracket. Then you are done here. So here I solve for q prime, then we are done. That is our q prime. So here, let me summarize what I did. Here is, I have to figure out what is the question. The question here, define the derivative of q with respect to p. Q is a function in p that is given, implicit. Implicit means is not given to you. Then I have to take the derivative of both sides with respect to p. Then what do you have in the middle here? Minus. I took the derivative term by term. The derivative of q with respect to b, and here the derivative of p with respect to p, which is 1. What is the derivative of q with respect to p? That is the question I need to find. Now what do you have in the right hand side? Plus. Take the derivative of the first term. Take the derivative of second term. What is the derivative of ln q or ln f? It will be 1 over f. What is inside here? Q. 1 over f prime multiplied by f prime. And here, what is your f? P. So 1 over f, which is p, multiplied by p prime. What is p prime? Is 1. What is q prime? That is the one here. That is our q prime, which is, I need to find here q prime, which is dq by dp. Now I have to, so I replace p prime by 1, right? And here q prime, and here you have q prime minus 1. Then I collect all q prime in one side. Any term does not have q prime, I put it in the other side, right? So that's what I did. I collect, I put all the term has no q prime on the right hand side, no q prime here, and all the term has q prime on the left hand side. Then I factor out q prime. After I factor out q prime, what happened? I have to solve for q prime. Then you are done. Okay, guys? So that is very much implicit differentiation. Here I'm going to provide I have the key solution here, so you can practice by yourself to finish this kind of problem. All right, guys? So I will stop here. Thank you.